TIFU by sleep drinking water. So, not today, a few years back. I remember my dreams really well. This one will haunt me. I'm having a dream I'm thirsty as banana. At this point I'm around 18 with bottles of whatever cheap banana that smells nice I can get my hands on. Well, in my dream I find a water bottle and open it, taking deep gulps. Then it hits me. Sleepily opening my eyes I realize I've wrapped my lips around a bottle of vanilla perfume and gone balls deep glugging it. The taste in my mouth is disgusting and I am immediately nauseous. But the absolute nightmare has just begun. Cue 8 hours of regularly expelling vanilla vomit. I still can't smell vanilla perfume without feeling sick. TL, Dr. TIFU by drinking perfume in my sleep. I'm trying to decide if the vomit would smell better or worse than it usually does in that situation. Smelled better, tasted worse. Hey, I used to sleepwalk a lot and once I had a dream that I was peeing and anyway my uncle had to take the garbage out immediately, you get it. I had a friend who sleepwalked. After a night of drinking one time, he got up off the couch he had passed out on, walked to the fridge, opened the vegetable crisper drawer, and pissed in it. I'm an active sleepwalker when I'm under a lot of stress. Once I had a big job going on and was in the middle of moving, woke up one morning and all the pictures were off the wall in my room neatly stacked in the corner. What the hell? I've done that exact same thing. They weren't laid flat. They were purposefully propped against one another against the wall. I did that one night with a bottle of peroxide. I spent the entire night puking. PSA music. On drinking vanilla perfume, call poison control immediately at 111. Rainbow, the more you know. TIFU by trying to help a girl at the club. So this actually happened a few months ago but thought it was worth sharing. Anyhow, I was out with some friends at the local club just drinking and dancing, enjoying ourselves. I was very drunk. Suddenly I see this really drunk girl on the crowded dance floor that had fallen and was struggling to get up. Everyone was just dancing around her and ignoring her, so I went to help her up. I came from behind and grabbed her waist and tried to lift her up, but she was very heavy so I didn't succeed at the first try. So I tried again, this time even harder. This time I succeeded and lifted her off the ground, to see to my horrible revelation that she had in fact not fallen and was not struggling to get up. She was a midget. I was holding a midget midair. I dropped her in panic and ran away as fast as I could and left the club. TL, Doctor tried helping a girl up that had fallen on the dance floor only to realize I was lifting a midget. This was funny to read. Ha 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 to the power of H ha 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 ha. Lamau, I can honestly say I laughed at this one. Not where I expected it to go at all. I will say midget is like the N-word to some dwarfs. That actually is the right term to use apparently. I'd hate for you to have an issue with anyone on here, as little as it might seem. Made account just to reply to this comment. Who told you little people like to be called dwarves? Maybe you know a little person who prefers that term. But please don't use that term around little people you don't know. It's just as bad as midget. This is a really good short story. A real Don Juan here would have made it all seem like part of asking her to dance. You could have recovered instead of just dropping her. My darling, you swept me off my feet so I thought I'd return the favor. No. TIFU by telling my girlfriend a can of Pepsi is more important than her. Obligatory. This didn't happen today, rather a few months ago. I've randomly thought of this story today and thought I should share the laugh with others. So at the moment of the cheesecake up, I had been dating my girlfriend for 3 months. We were at the point where we subtly told each other we loved one another without actually using the word yet. This is fairly new to me, as in every other relationship I was always the first to say it pretty quickly, rarely past the first month. Seeing as I'm getting older, and this relationship feels more adult and serious as previous ones, I'm trying to take my time with things. Also, you gotta know Pepsi released a limited time vanilla flavored Pepsi. I was all always a huge fan of vanilla Coke, not available here, and getting vanilla flavored Pepsi was the greatest thing for me while it lasted, as I like Pepsi even more than Coke. On the day I discovered the cans in the grocery store, I bought a 12-pack home to her place to share with her and her roommates, and of course for myself and my lunches the next few days. Here comes the banana up. For some reason, I thought of my joke thoroughly for an hour before doing it and still thought it was a good idea. I hid a can of Pepsi in the bed sheets besides me. As I waited for my girlfriend to join me in her room to go to bed, I told her, staring her in the eyes, "I've been so happy recently. Tonight I'm going to be sleeping next to the best thing that's happened to me in years, and I couldn't be happier." Her eyes teared up as she thought I was finally saying I loved her. And then, without missing a beat, I pulled the can of Pepsi from under the sheets and said vanilla Pepsi in a very commercial Y voice. She got pretty sad/angry, and we didn't cuddle at all that night. TLDR, told the wrong person, thing, I loved them. Did you say I love you later, right? And about a week later. Wow son, you should have paid more attention to where you put that abort button. Should have called that one off when you saw how touched she was. I did something similar but more to do with my ex being on the monthly flow. She had a rough day, cramping up and having period cramps. When we sat down together to watch some Netflix, I told her that she was so amazing to power through her period, dealing with the girl stuff, and then I pulled out the wrapped up tampon she threw away in the bathroom earlier and said, "Just so I can have a tasty snack." I thought it was funny. Carrot narrator, it was not funny. 1. Username checks out. 2. You monster, that's nasty. I see no error. Setup. Execution. Good things she's understanding, lol. Ha ha ha. TIFU by burping in front of my boyfriend. Like any healthy relationship, my boyfriend and I burp and fart in front of each other. Usually we rate each other's bodily functions too, just to spice up the relationship, you know. So this evening, we were sat watching some Netflix, when I thought I would be an excellent idea to chuck a bunch of Pepsi. Fizzy drinks usually make me burp quite a bit, and this time was no different. I felt the burp coming up, looked my boyfriend dead in the eyes and let it rip. Now, this burp was particularly long and loud, and he was laughing more and more as the burp went on. Then it happened. Mid-burp, my stomach decides something isn't sitting quite right and I projectile vomited all over myself, my boyfriend, and our bed. We both started at each other in shock for a moment before I started screaming at him to get a towel. Once we were all cleaned up, we both found the funny side of it, thankfully. However, I am worried he will never be able to find me sexually attractive ever again. TL, Doctor burped at my boyfriend for a laugh and ended up projectile vomiting on him. Wow. I once did something close to my uncle once after my other uncle dared me to burp in that uncle's face. My mom was shocked and my uncle that dared me said I didn't think he would do it. You puked on him, then screamed at him to clean it up. Clean up your own puking bum. Here is a story to make you feel better. The missus did something similar with a fart in her undies on our everyday lounge couch. She had drank some spiked ciders, and trusted a fart a little too much. She pooped on the couch, like the place of our existence within the house. I found it extremely hilarious, and still find her to be extremely sexually attractive to this day. The moral of the story is that even if your GF projectile vomits on your face, she will still yell at you to get a towel and clean it up. Oof, I'm glad you guys can laugh it off, lol.